Hi, Juan here with Político, a Spotify original from Anchor.fm, or now known as Spotify for podcasters. Do you want to make a podcast just like this one? Maybe better. I'll let you decide. It's easy and as simple, literally at your fingertips. If you go to your app store, you can download Spotify for podcasters, or you can visit the web browser at podcasters.spotify.com to start a free account today. With Spotify for podcasters, you will be able to upload your podcast to all platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and all the other platforms out there. You can also create video podcasts, which can be uploaded to YouTube or other streaming platforms. At the same time, you can create interactive phase for your fans. This is Q&As, polls, and even invite your fans through a link that would allow you to talk to them on a one-on-one podcast. With Spotify for podcasters, you can also earn money, including a podcast subscription and ads just like this one. All the best and totally free. There's literally not a catch. So since we found Spotify for podcasters, we have been working to make our podcast better every day, and I highly recommend it. If you want to start your podcast, definitely give it a try. Download Spotify for podcasters, the app, or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Hey everyone, welcome once again to another episode of Político with Juan, Collado, Díaz. Today, I will not be your host, as my friend McKenzie, Levi, the Cleveland All-Night, will be the one hosting this podcast because this topic is more of his thing than my thing. I will just be, I guess, a co-host or a background person for a little bit. So let's get ready to have our minds blown with an expert on the film industry and this Hollywood thing, since he tried and failed many times and went back and did it again and went back and did it again. So you're going to learn things that you may not know or that I may not know, and then somebody eventually will know, or we will find out today. So stay tuned. McKenzie, let me pass the microphone to you and let you begin this episode.
Yeah, I do have a background in Hollywood entertainment, so I know a little bit about fame, and we've had some recent events lately with people who were trying to get famous. So I just kind of wanted to talk about what it means to be famous, and the reality is that you can't become famous. You can become kind of micro famous, and you can do small things and get a following, but the reality is that you can't become hyper famous like these people that you see on TV or on these social media things that have millions and millions of followers. Like, you cannot become a Billboard music artist. Even if you're a talented person, you have to be in a specific club that does specific things. And even if you're willing to do those things, they don't just let anybody in, even if they're really talented. So I figured I could give you a little bit of background on my experience in the entertainment industry and just tell you a little bit of secrets about what some of these people are doing. And you can see yourself that they reveal that they're in these secret societies, and they reveal that they all do this kind of demonic stuff. So before I was the alt-night, I was pursuing a career in acting. So I've always been doing construction as a trade, but during a lull in that industry, I decided I was doing stand-up comedy for fun, and I decided I really wanted to pursue a career in entertainment. I had gotten a modeling contract in the city I was living in because I had done a article for a local magazine because I was on the rugby team, and they needed a picture of someone who was photogenic and who had a lot of injuries. And so my president of my team, he was like, "Hey, I got the guy." So I went, and after that, my aunt said, "Hey, why don't you submit your stuff to a local modeling agency?" And so I thought that was for like kids to do. I'm in my 20s, so I did it, and they accepted me. And when I went in to sign the contract, they're like, "Do you act too? Because we have an audition right here for a TV show that's being shot in South Carolina," even though I was living in Indianapolis. And I said, "Oh yeah, I got stand-up comedy experience, so I'll try, that." And so I did the audition, and I did terrible, and I didn't get the role or anything. But I was like, I like this. And so they started calling me for auditions on commercials and local things, and I was getting some stuff for like a furniture store, and I would do little things, and I was doing auditions for independent films that people were shooting there, but there wasn't much going on in that city. And I figured if I really wanted to do it, if I really wanted to try to become a Hollywood actor with some money and the ability to make my own productions and do the stuff that I like to do, then I was going to devote my life to that. So instead of going right to Hollywood, I went to a city that had an independent film industry going on, and just to kind of cut my teeth and go to classes. And I went to Austin, Texas, where I lived for a year, and went to different independent coaches most nights of the week. I had sold everything I had so I could just have a bunch of money to live on and try to be an actor. And they actually had a lot of auditions there for people at UT and a couple other colleges there. So I did some acting for free, but they were roles where I had speaking parts on these productions that got put together, and I was on some pilots, and I actually played a drug dealer on one, and I played a thief on another, and I always kind of played darker roles that they thought I was like a serial killer or something like that. So Juan's seen a couple of my old videos, some of the shorts that were produced, and like I said, I'm not in the Knights attire. I look like an Austinite actually in those. So, but Austin, I like Austin, but it's a really big party town. It's hard to get work done, and I didn't really like the architectural style of the houses there. I was living in a cool apartment complex that was for artists and musicians, but it was way too crazy because it also had like a lot of partying going on there. So I needed to go somewhere, and I heard that New Orleans was becoming Hollywood South, that they were bringing all these productions there from Hollywood because they had a tax incentive. And so I love New Orleans. I've been going there for a long time, and I saw this as an opportunity to go live there. So I sold everything I had again and moved to New Orleans, and I got an apartment in the French Quarter in this kind of really cool attic of this old cigar box factory around Governor Nichols Street. And it was actually right across the street from Brad Pitt's house where he has in New Orleans. So when I got there and they were like, oh, Brad Pitt's right across the street. I never saw him there. But I saw when Angelina Jolie came to town, they went to the market and they had their security outside 24 hours a day. Anyways, so I'm living in New Orleans, and as soon as I got there, I started getting parts in different productions. I was a background cop on a show called Common Law. And so I had regular work doing that, where it was like 3-4 days a week. I would just have to go, and I'd get to the set wherever they're shooting around New Orleans, and I put on my cop uniform that they have sized and ready for me, and then I go sit in a tent, and then I wait until they're like, we need 3 cops, like, come on. And then I have to go and be with the stars, like, next to them or doing whatever. And I had some cool things I did with that, with, like, you know, running around and hiding behind dumpsters and holding the guns, and sending this show to my parents and being like, look, I'm on TV. So I did some bigger productions and I was on Treme, and then I was in Now You See Me, and then This Is the End, that Seth Rogen movie where it's the end of the world. There's a party at James Franco's house where all these celebrities who are playing themselves are gathered, and I had to audition in like my cool clothes so I could get a role to like go and be just a guest at this party. But I'm at this party. So I then, because I'm friends with people who were doing the stuff around New Orleans, I'm going to these Hollywood parties and trying to like mingle in with some of these famous actors and just being around them and thinking maybe I can get an opportunity somehow. I always would say, well, when an opportunity's door opens, I'm ready to walk through. I got it all. I got the background experience, I got the training, I got the talent, I'm ready. So then during the summer in New Orleans, everything dries up as far as the film industry. So then hurricanes come and I needed to get a job. So I went and worked in the clubs in the Quarter and kind of lost sight of my Hollywood ambitions. And then one of the girls in one of the clubs I was working at, she was like, hey, you know, you don't look like you belong here. You look like you're supposed to be in Hollywood. And I said, yeah, I'm supposed to go there. I forgot. And she was like, well, I'm going there too. I've lived there before. You know, do you want to go? And I said, yeah. So we went out there and I got an apartment with her as a friend. And then she kind of introduced me to the people that she knew out there who were famous people or famous adjacent people. And that way I had kind of a network there. And in Hollywood, there's no background work to be had. There's no like light work for a small-time actor, and there's not much regular work either because all these small-time actors who think that they can go out there, they all have those jobs taken. So I had to go work this day labor job for $50 a day for 8 hours with lots of people from Mexico and different countries. You have to show up at 5 a.m. and they'd assign you to some temp job. And I ended up working in a tile warehouse as a job, driving a forklift. And this is not what you think Hollywood is going to be, but this is what Hollywood is. You live in an apartment by yourself, maybe, if you can afford it, and walking around, riding the bus, and it's like, well, how do you get onto the billboard so that you can be one of these people? It's like, well, they don't want you on there because they're on there. And like, they don't have room for another guy, even if you have it all. And I didn't even think about my race or how that factored in. I was just like, hey, I'm a funny actor from, back home. Like, bring me out. Like let me play with you guys. Let me hang. And you just realize, like, no, they're not letting people in. And so I kind of just thought it was like, well, I had my shot. I did it. And there was a couple of earthquakes, and I had written some cool scripts, and I quit my job, and I went and tried to pursue the script and see, like, how could I get a movie written, and started to, like, find that there was a whole bunch of mountains that you had to climb to get any work done at all there. And it was like, well, I can't do this here. Like, no one's helps anybody there. No one's friendly to anybody there. Even the people that are trying to help you, they are doing it for themselves, and then they like pull the rug out from underneath you because they really would rather just have that feeling of hurting you than actually even being successful themselves by working with you. So I still have friends out there. I did meet some good people, but for the most part, people out there aren't good. And the one time I was walking down the street and I saw this guy talking to some investor. And he was like, I'm so glad you're finally invested in my movie. I can finally do something. And the guy was like, oh, I wanted to tell you, can you write in another role for my friend's sister? Because she's an actress. And he was like, well, that kind of really affects the movie. And it's like, well, that's what you do when you ask for money. You have to give up your vision because now you're saying, hey, I need you to do this. And I'm like, well, if I'm paying, then you're going to do it my way.
Yeah, you have to give in the demands of the people putting the money.
So after that, I had realized, hey, that's not really going on. And that's when I went and was living out in the woods in Northern California and got into the public safety thing, which we talked about before, and I got a book about and everything. But back to the fame in Hollywood. So after I got back into this area and started to get into, I don't know what you'd call it, the conspiracy theory community, and see some of these things and see some of the things I had seen when I was there but not recognized, and seeing that a lot of these people are doing these symbols and they're all doing the same kind of things in all their movies. And it's like, well, is there this network of people that are helping each other, not helping other people, and they're all in this secret club that they all do this, and you can only be famous if you're in the secret club, and the club is satanic. And it's like, well, let's review the evidence. So all these people, these hyper famous people that are in the stratosphere of fame, they all do these weird hand symbols all the time. They put one hand over their eye, or they will make a 666 with their hand by doing like the OK sign, or they will, on a lot of their entertainment pieces on the front cover. And I'm not worried about saying this. It's not like, oh, they're going to come get them, because like they're very flagrant about the way they do it. And also,
shit, if you're not alive by 2 days, we know.
Oh, the Illuminati got me.
By the time this podcast is released, if you're not alive, the Illuminati's got you.
The Illuminati doesn't care about people talking about the Illuminati because it's like a joke. So they can just be like, oh, the crazy Illuminati is talking about the Illuminati. Who cares? And some people have said that I'm in it because some of the symbolism I was wearing when I came out, and I'm the alt-night, and I have a slight amount of notoriety. Keep that in mind, anybody who thinks that maybe they could get famous by being adjacent to me. Like, I'm not, so don't think that like it's gonna help you. And like Juan, somehow he's able to, I guess, circumvent the curse of McKenzie by bringing me on these shows and still being successful. So most people that like get involved with me, it doesn't end up working out in their favor, or they become successful and famous, because I'm not in the Illuminati. I'm not going to do the rituals, and they wouldn't let me in anyways. So when I was in Hollywood, I looked into some of the actual like big secret societies that you could just see because they're right there, like the Scientology church. and the Freemasons.
I've been looking at that, actually, the Scientology church, because I've been seeing like YouTube videos and I'm like, shit, now I want to make fun of these people. Now, like, I want to go around and fuck with them for a little. But then I was looking at these videos and it's like, holy shit. They're monsters. Like, there's this woman that literally had to, her son was recording her. She had to start crying and acting like her son died for them to stop calling her. And the next day they call her again. Like, they literally promised to stop calling her. And the next day they're like, literally, they're worse than the wrath comes, but they're like just almost as close as the wrath comes, pretty much.
Still sending emails. So, well, it's funny because they're a big presence in Hollywood. I didn't even know. I got to Hollywood and where I was staying in East Hollywood and Silver Lake, the apartment, you could look out and you could see the Hollywood sign. And just beneath the Hollywood sign, you can see this big, huge blue building with the same kind of font, and it's in white letters. It says Scientology. It's like, what? That's there? And my friend's like, yeah. You should go join it. There's people that are in it. And I was like who? And she's like, oh, some musicians that I know and stuff. And so I'm there to network, and I am trying to like figure out how Hollywood works. So so I go to the main Scientology church, and I'm like, where do I sign up? And they're like, okay, well, here you come to these intro classes and you pay this much money. And it is really like a school where they teach you different ways to get through life. And especially in the early classes, they just teach you how to make things easier for yourself. They teach you how networks work and where the point person is and the contacts of getting a job. So if you want to get a job, you're gonna know what to do. You're gonna know how to navigate these social environments. So it is somewhat beneficial. And I went through 3 of the classes, and I didn't have any more money because at this point I've sold everything like 3-4 times. I got like a rental car that's got to be back, and I have no other money, and I had on an air mattress, and that's it. So I am like, I don't have any more money. And they're like, oh, you don't have any more money? We don't really want to do this anymore. It's like, well, wait, I need help. Like, I need help, like, finding an apartment. Do you guys do any of that? Like, can you give me any of your like cult? Like, I'm willing. Like, I need help. And they're like, no, we don't do that. So they ended up calling me like later after I'd been there. Somehow I got on this list to go to the Celebrity Center, which is a different building. It's like a castle, and it's in West Hollywood. And I was like, whoa, here I am. Of course I'm being invited to the Celebrity Center. They must have heard about my background work. So I go and I'm sitting in this meeting with all these people, and they're watching this presentation about going on a cruise. And you had to pay $2,800, but on the cruise you were going to get to make a movie. That was what they sent me this thing. It was like, do you want to make your own movie? And I'm like, yes, I do. So I go to this thing, and these people are raising their hand. They're asking these questions, and like the one guy raises his hand. He goes, "So if you're already affluent," and looks around, would this going on this cruise make you even more affluent? And they're like, absolutely. And I was like, what? That is such a weird question. I put my notes down, and I was like, I'm not going on this cruise. I don't have $2,800. I wanted to make a movie about the script I wrote, and I was thinking they were going to help me get like resources and cameras and people. And so I get a tap on my shoulder, and they're like, come with us. And then, okay. And they walk me down this hall of the Celebrity Center, and leave everything just by myself, and they put me in this little like turret side bottom room that's got rounded walls and these books behind these kind of like glass locked bookshelves. And this guy's like, so what are you doing here? And I said, well, I want to make a movie. And he's like, well, we want to talk to you about, investing some of your money into this church. And I was like, I don't have any. He was like, well, how are you going to learn this information that we have in these books? And I was like, that's already tools in my tool chest, because I've been involved with some of the occult before, and living in New Orleans and living in LA, I knew that these people were doing stuff like that, and I was always been kind of attracted to it, and the ability to kind of affect your environment. But I don't recommend doing any of that stuff, whether it's just regular witchcraft or New Orleans voodoo or Scientology witchcraft or any of the stuff that you can do. Like, don't do it, because it always affects you negatively. You get what you want, but you get it in this ha-ha way that's like, you got it. You want that, right? So, but these people are involved in magic, and they are involved in witchcraft. And so the Scientology people, they don't bother me anymore, but they send me an email here and there, but they don't have like a big presence over here in these other smaller cities.
Yeah, I was wondering because I was looking at, I saw this like YouTube video, this guy who goes and harasses them pretty much like in front of their center, and they like try to come around and try to yell at him and try to assault him. And I was like, who the fuck are these people? Like, how had I never heard of Scientology? Like, so I decided to do my research. It was like a couple of years ago. And I started like just watching their YouTube videos, like people like harassing them and people just going like yelling at them. And I kind of have fun with it. Like, screw it. I will do that. I mean, that's kind of what I kind of do with the RevCom just online because I don't have a church or whatever. They'll have the Avakian and they'll have the basics.
They have an Avakian. He's called L. Ron Hubbard. That's their guy. He invented their religion because he was a science fiction writer, and that was what the first thing you go into. There's a museum to him, and they have all these epic photos of him as a kid, like blowing a bugle over this sunset over a lake, and I was like, no way.
Wait, is it like an Avakian? Like
he's their like Avakian figure. He's the L. Ron Hubbard who started this church religion, and so he was like a worshipful figure in their eyes when he was alive, but now he's dead. He's like their saint.
My fucking God.
So this whole museum's devoted to him, and I'm like, how did this guy know he was going to be like this epic guy when he was a kid, that they had these professional pictures taken? And I was looking around like, this whole thing's fake. These are not him. These are like, this whole thing is like a set up religion. And then I look into it and it's like, oh, he did do that. He was like, well, if you set up a religion, then you don't get taxed and you can pretty much do whatever you want. And he was like, so here's our religion. Let's start to buy all these properties.
Does anybody want to make like the Juan religion? It's just only Juans. And anybody who joins his name have to legally change their name to Juan. There you go. Like, I mean, Jesus, a tax write-off. I'm just saying.
That's not bad.
Shit, like
some of these others.
The Juan, I don't know, the Juanadity or something. I don't know. Just make up a name for it. It's just Juan's
Church or Juan.
Juan Levy. There you go. You have to change your name to Juan if you want to be part of the Juan religion, and you get a tax write-off, I guess.
I'm not joining for the tax write-off.
No, like, it's just funny because when I saw things like that, I'm like, holy shit. And then Hollywood has one of the biggest like Scientology churches, and I was looking, I'm like, what the fuck? And then like there's famous people as part of this, and there's like this biggest case of this woman who like actually left the religion and they make her life miserable, like literally told her that they would take her kids, and they took her kids. Like the kids decided to stay with them. We're like, what the fuck? Like, why do people think that this is like a normal thing? And I guess they offer you all this crap, and then you pretty much end giving up to them and doing like their crap. You live like nothing just for these people.
Well, that's a very visible example that people know about of a network of people that can like make or break you. So that's why, getting back to the Illuminati, a lot of people don't believe that it could be real, that there would be this network. But it's on display in other ways, like the Scientology Church. So it's pretty, and like I said, it's on display in their symbolism and the way that they do things, that there is this network of evil people that run the entertainment industry and that support evil behavior and bring people in, and they make them do more evil because you have to do these satanic rituals in order to elevate yourself higher in their whatever they call their degrees in
their hierarchy. I don't know, like whatever.
So you can kind of see some of these people get rewarded. They'll do something really weird, and it'll be like, why are these people doing this? You'll see almost every famous actor has had to do something where he's had to cross-dress. There's some like humiliation ritual that they're having to go through because they've been given what they asked for. They a long time ago sold their soul, and they said, I want to be classically famous, make me that, and they are. So they still have to do things. And also, if they want to go next level, like, they got to do a thing. Like, you'll see a lot of them, they will do some either commercial or music video where they're bathing in what looks like a blood-like substance, but it's blood. Like, they're doing a ritual where they're like in blood. So
fuck, there was this guy, whatever his name is, he was like twerking to the devil. Like, have you seen that one?
That guy. How famous did he get?
Yeah, he got very famous. He was twerking to the devil, and like he was like the devil's, in other words, like double little bitch, pretty much. And he was like just twerking to the devil, like dancing, bathing in blood throughout the video. Mm-hmm. That was a really like
corn syrup or something they're saying. But why do that again and again and again? Why always do these same satanic themes? Like, they say that they don't even believe in God or Satan. So like, why not do a different theme, like a totally different theme? Why do biblical evil, classic devil, blood? Don't. Why do that? Do something that's totally creative, that's out of that whole thing that you say that you're not involved in, that you don't like. So, I mean, they could do Under the Sea theme, they could do anything, but they choose to do satanic blood stuff. So, and like some of them get rewarded with like hot girlfriends that you'll be like, how did this guy get this girlfriend? I will tell you the example that I saw where, what's that guy's name? He's really obnoxious. He was on Saturday Night Live. Pete something. He's friends with MGK.
Is that Ariana Grande's like ex? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot. I cannot attain
that woman.
I cannot stand him.
Right before he did that, he got a Hillary Clinton tattoo on his leg and went on national TV. And it's like, was that some kind of like ritual that he did? And then he was rewarded with pick one of our Illuminati celebrities who you want to be your girlfriend, because they all owe us. And he went, I want the hottest one on the market. I'll take that one. And they were like, she's yours. And she was doting on him. And he was wearing the stupidest clothes. And she was just like looking at him like, oh, he's so attractive. And then they got apart. And then so he went with his childhood crush, which was like the girl from Underworld. What's her name? Kate Beckinsale. And you could just tell, like, he's probably, like, loved her for his whole life. And now it's like, all right, now who do you want now? Because he did some other thing. He bathed in blood. He gets his movies that are like, oh, this movie will just be about you. You get to play you. Why? You're that cool? It's like, no, he did some ritual, and now he is rewarded for that by the network that rewards that by they give him another movie. And also a lot of these movies in the film industry is used to launder money and to reward these people for doing that stuff, because these budgets are so massive, and these words that they're putting on these budgets are like code words for clothespins that they need to hang up like sheets and screens in front of the lights, except that they got so they could just put money through there. And book sales are like that too. You ever see these people, they do something real crazy and then it's like, oh, they're over, and then it's like, no, they got rewarded with a book deal. It's like, oh, so these people, these actors and these musicians, they do the craziest stuff that you could never do. Your life would be over. You would be like living in your basement just like, I can't believe that incident occurred and I did that and now it's done. But these people will do heinous crimes to kill people. And it's like, coming out next month, a movie with the guy who killed the person last month. And they don't care because they're in this network that will keep them going. And that's why a lot of them never really get poor. But the ones that speak against it, they don't get popular, or they had this like one little set of people that like speak against it, but they're controlled opposition. So it sounds like there's some people who are not in it who are like, oh, I still got successful even though I didn't have to sign my name in blood to the Illuminati.
Then you have like the Disney kids. Like I follow a couple of those like on the internet, and it's like the wash out Disney kids pretty much, because all they talk about is their life, how they were a Disney kid, like through their entire childhood. There's one of them actually, and I think she did then she did something with the CW, whatever, and now she's working 2 retail jobs. Like she literally made it very clear on her page, and she's working 2 retail jobs.
That is probably the smartest thing anybody could do.
And I'm like,
run away from that industry and don't try to do it. It's better to just live in a smaller city and work with people that are around you, that are willing to do projects with you. And especially now with the way that media is, you could just like put stuff on YouTube and you could put a whole movie on there and it's right up there with everybody else's stuff. And so it's on the TV, smart TV, so you could just watch your own documentaries on there or whatever you want to do.
Or else you end like Michael Jackson, just giving your everything. I mean, your damn voice belongs to like the company that your producer and everything. Like everything belongs to them. Like he couldn't even do something without asking permission before, like to his producer and stuff. So
they really do own you.
They owe you at the end. So yeah,
but it's easier to work with people that are just in your community, and a lot of times they'll do it for free or nothing, or you just pay them a little bit, or you give them a favor. I mean, I've done some music videos. And my favor was that the guy who was the producer for those, he's got a recording studio. So that's how I'm able to go to into a professional recording studio and record my music, because I don't have extra money to do that. And you do have to have extra money to make these productions and to get high quality things. And I'm sitting at Juan's table here, and he's got some nice equipment on the table, but that's what he needs to have in order to have a professional podcast. So you do have to devote your energy and your resources to do an entertainment if you want. But there's certainly a lot of things that are worth less that people devote their lives to.
Yeah, it's pretty much you can see it. And I mean, you have done like, you do your YouTube, you do your films, like you did an amazing documentary, and that was pretty much with phones. That's what I was like, you gotta damn iPhone and like record your, like if you have a script, you have to have a couple of good friends that can like remember cameras. And like, I mean, iPhones have amazing cameras these days. Like I have the S22, 23 Ultra. They're the Samsung ones. They have the best cameras out there. Like, I mean, if you want to record Zack Snyder, record some part of like the Justice League movie, his own movie literally off of the iPhone camera.
And if you don't know where to start, if you like, well, how do you make a song? How do you make a movie? Just watch one that you like, and just like, okay, you can sort of see how it's put together, because they're all put together that way. They all have a formula. Every single song that you hear on the radio, it's a formula. And the ones on the radio, I wouldn't even listen to those because they have like backmasking, and they're putting spells on you when you're listening to that stuff. My music doesn't have any spells, so feel free to enjoy. But that's the work that you have to do is you have to, like, when I make my music, there's 20, 30 tracks of different instruments and vocals that I have all on this program, but everything's done on just a simple computer. I'm even using online programs to do it. Like I said, the phone is better than a lot of the cameras that you can go rent from some of these places that rent you like nice ones. If you get into it, you want to rent a big red camera because you want to invest the money and you're going to put something in a film festival or something and you get good at it. Like I said, it's way cheaper to do it here in Cleveland than it is to try to do it in Hollywood, where you're going to try to pay $1 million guy. And like I said, they're not going to work with you because you're not in the Illuminati. So don't even bother.
Yeah, you're not part of the triangle. There was this actually.
Oh, that's another one. They do a pyramid with their hands.
The pyramid with the hands. This
sign too, just the horn.
I have a friend who always takes a photo and he always goes like this, and I'm like, and I looked at him and I go, "You're the Illuminati? Like, why do you keep doing the pyramid?" He's in his 20s. He's like late 20s, but he's not famous or anything. I mean, he failed.
There are also symbols.
He didn't make it to city council like twice, so I don't know. He's not, so he didn't make it with his campaign. But he always takes the photo like with his fingers, and it's like. They kind of like.
I think I know the guy you're talking about, and that might be because he's in a different group of people that use hand symbolisms to designate that they're in that group. To people who are, it's just a group that I don't really talk about too much publicly because, I do like my life.
Is the Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler. Ugh, that son of a bitch.
Yeah,
it's in every movie. Like, he literally owns Netflix. Like, I was just looking at this movie. It's about a lizard and a turtle, and it's called Leo. It's on Netflix. Adam Sandler. It's his movie. That was another movie.
Step aside so some up and comer can get the role. Like, no, they're not going.
No, there was a movie about like one of his daughters supposedly had like it's like this tradition that when she becomes like a woman or whatever, and like the religions, the whole movie's inside her family. The whole cast is his wife, his daughters, him, family member. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, like I said, now his whole family, they all probably are getting paychecks for this thing because it's and he's just pumping.
Like, I need to know exactly what deal or whatever he signed because I want to sign that deal because shit.
They do approach people who are talented, and some of these people like Gaga and. They talk about how they were approached by a man in black after they started to come up a little bit, and whether this is them lying because they actually like have been destined for this for a long time, whatever, they've been hooked in since childhood, whatever it is. They do approach people with talent, and they see if you're an influencer, if you're someone that they think would be willing to go their way, they will bring you in. And like I think some YouTube people, Shane, he did a Illuminati contract on.
I mean, shit, I wouldn't be surprised that, like, Logan Paul and Jake Paul did it. I mean, how the hell do you come out of Cleveland?
Of popularity. I think that those guys are, I've seen them throw the hand symbolism. I've also heard that one guy who's the fighter talk about that the aliens are coming, which is one of their clubs, like...
That's Logan, like Logan Paul, he's...
Thing. And so he
came out to be a flat earther, like, I don't know, like 2012 or something like that. He was supposed to be a flat earther, and then he... said that he was lying, but then he came back again and said then he was like told to say that he was lying. and then he kind of like went back, and now he's like, it's weird because
It's confusing, huh?
again, like, how the hell did these two Cleveland kids, because they're both Clevelanders, like, how does these two Cleveland kids turn to be like that famous? I'm sorry, like, doesn't work that way.
So, and that's not to say that they're not talented. Like, he punches hard, I'm sure. Like, it's not, oh, they're fake punches. But the fame, the meteoric rise to fame as being an organic concept, that doesn't exist. Like, you cannot do it. It's pretend. It's almost the same way that they pretend that you could run for an elected office and actually win. But it's the same way. Oh, anybody, you can go there and you'll get discovered, and you just have to have the right time, the right moment, and everything. Just like, you can, but you still won't get in. They're not going to let you in. But if you are hooked in, a lot of these people are hooked in through childhood, through their parents, and they kind of get set up to be in this satanic club, and they start doing the ritual stuff really early, and it is. You see these people being promoted, and it's like, okay, I could see that person being promoted for the sake of them seeing it being a really big moneymaker. But if you look at someone like MGK, he is not a likable person.
No, oh my God, you're talking to someone that I like passionately, like with all the passion in the world. I have never hated someone in my life. I have not hated someone in my life, and I mean, he's not even a Clevelander. He was in Shaker. Like, his life was in Shaker and Cleveland Heights.
Kind of. I think he just uses Cleveland as a city to rep, so that he has that kind of like rap thing where they rep their city. So he moved around a lot, and he was living in Egypt, and a lot of the occult stuff has to do with Egyptology and Osiris, and that's partly why they do the one eye. It's like part of this old story where one, like, deity brother stole the other one's eye, and he mocks him by putting his hand over it, and that's what they're doing. They're like, I'm mocking this old deity. So, but yeah, he's bathed in blood on video. And then 2 years ago, they did this thing called MGK Day, where
oh my fucking God,
bought all these tickets for the whole stadium and gave them away. They were free. And like the Rock Hall, like put this thing outside. It's like
he started doing it now. It's like Cleveland. It's literally the mayor of Cleveland signed it and made it into a Cleveland holiday.
So the mayor's in it too. The mayor's in the same club.
It's the most ridiculous, disgusting thing. Like, I mean, literally, the guy like climbed into his stage,
owns a coffee bar,
released balloons. Like,
he money off the city.
Yeah, like, he literally makes money off the city.
For people I saw one time, but it's like, just why don't you go live in
anything in Cleveland that is pink? That belongs to that motherfucker.
What?
Everything in Cleveland that is pink belongs to him, pretty much, because that's his color. Ugh. Like, his identity is pink. Like, he's literally the cowgirl Barbie. Pretty much, that's who he is. That's the pink.
There's a video where I went to outside of his concert on MGK Day, and I was using my megaphone to reveal that he's an Illuminati and say these things loudly. And so that was one.
Can you invite me next year and do that? I will be more. I swear, I will dress like the All Night Junior just for that shit. I was
having a problem with the police that were on the thing. I was like, you guys don't mind that I'm here to protest MGK because he's satanic and he's a bad representative of the city, and they're like, oh, no.
I will design the posters. I will bring your whole protest crew. Believe me,
But you can't acknowledge that that's happening, because if you are somebody that's famous, a lot of times people do that. They start a beef with somebody who's a little bit more famous because that'll like raise them up. But they don't acknowledge you, because then it would give you that credibility that you're seeking. So, like, he's never going to acknowledge. I went into his coffee shop one time just to try to like find him because I thought he was in town. I wanted to confront him, and it's like you can't do that. Luckily, he wasn't there, so
I keep forgetting that he has a Cleveland coffee shop too. It's like that. What is it called? Like Club something, whatever is it? 27. Like, yeah, it's like isn't it close to the Flats area?
Yeah.
It's all pink. Also, like, I mean, if you don't know, like, it's all pink, and every single Cleveland I'm sorry, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say the word that I have never said publicly, but every little hoe in Cleveland that has an OnlyFans literally goes to that and takes a selfie, and oh my gosh, I'm like the biggest shit, and that did not come from him. It came exactly from me.
Don't get me started on the OnlyFans. I've met some females lately that are into a lot of the stuff I'm into me, and then I find out they got an OnlyFans, and I gotta deal with that if I want to still pursue them, because I did.
Listen, you can become famous at OnlyFans.
I don't do that myself. No, it wasn't. No, they didn't.
You can do it all night.
That I would have to deal with the fact that was their income source. I've dated a stripper before, and it is.
Wouldn't you like to have your own OnlyFans?
No.
Just imagine, like, just the all-night OnlyFans. I don't know. I feel like all the medieval people would subscribe to that. You have a good following. All your Cleveland fans will be subscribing to
They
you.
might if it was just a website devoted to me just getting punched. They might be
like a Patreon kind of thing.
No, I never really thought about asking people for money for what I do because I think it's tacky when people do that. I think it's tacky when celebrities do that. I think it's tacky when celebrities do commercials for products.
Shit, we're fucked because I was gonna start a Patreon, but I don't know. He just kind of like throw that out there.
Well, you can still do it. It's just tacky. So
no judgment there.
So yeah, I've had that said to me before, like, hey, why don't you? And I could use money to go to some further away events that are volatile and do public safety at the protests, and I could. But honestly, I have the money that I need to do the stuff that I'm trying to do. I always have what I need, and if I'm trying to get more and I don't have it, it's God's way of showing me. Don't do that. That's not the thing you're doing. So like, let that go, move on, or figure out how to do it without the money, and then it'll be more beneficial to you. So yeah, when I ran for office, I thought, oh, here comes the money. Like somebody's gonna donate to me or something. But then I kind of realized, like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to be in the Illuminati to run for politics too. So basically,
like Nancy Pelosi.
And those people, the politicians, they all do the hand signs too. They do the same symbolism. They'll stand there and while they're doing a speech, they'll hold up the 666 sign in their hand, and people will be like, "Oh, it's all right. He's just making a hand sign because he's just doing it." And they're doing it on purpose so that they're photographed that way, or you see somebody behind them doing it. There's this one. I forget what magazine it was. It was like Better Homes and Gardens, and they did something on Harry Styles. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk to these. I think I'm allowed to talk to these people because they're hyper celebrities and they're in the public domain. So, and anytime you put yourself out there like that, you're making videos and stuff, you kind of are in the public domain and people are talking about.
I pretty much I learned to slowly hate hairstyles because my first girlfriend, I want to say, had like this obsessive like crush on this guy through like
almost like a magic spell.
Something exactly like her background photo, and this was back on the like iPod times. It wasn't just even as an iPhone. She had an iPod, and her iPod background was like this guy. And I hope she's not listening to this because I'm still friends with her. I hope she's not listening to it, but yeah, like literally like iPod was his background, his music, everything. I was like, what the hell? Like,
there's probably some synthesizers in it that give her some kind of like a feeling and deepen her dopamine receptors. But then there's definitely like some.
Also, it is safe to mention, and this was like I was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah. I'm 23 now. This was like almost a decade ago. Let's just make that very clear.
If you listen to that 11, 12, that's probably why you're cursed now with some of the thoughts that you have. So, but on the cover of this magazine, which was like a home magazine, he's got his hands and he's got a little cross tattooed on his hand where he's doing this thing where the cross is upside down. And so I called customer service and I said, hey, why do you guys have an upside down cross on the front of your magazine? And they're like, well, that's just Harry's tattoo. And I was like, but the way that you've oriented it, it's upside down. And she's like, oh, we're very happy with the way that Harry's picture turned out. Like, they call him Harry. And I'm like, okay, well, let me look at a different magazine. So I open up this other one, and it's like got Ariana Grande, and she's like doing an article with her mom. And she's like talking about how, oh, I love my mom. And then she's hugging her mom. And in the picture we're talking about, on her mom's shoulder, she's making the 666 sign with her hands. It's like, you can't shut it off for a minute while you're doing that. And I'm trying to figure out, is it these photographers that are in Illuminati that are like, hey, can you do one of those Illuminati hand signs? Or is it these celebrities that are like, what would be funny is if I did this here. Like the one eye symbolism thing they do, you'll see it now. And a lot of them, they always pick some kind of clever way to do it. Like the one hand over the eye that's so like, they'll do it if that's all they got. But usually they'll use something that's relevant to their fame. So like Greta Thunberg, she's got a globe in a picture where she's holding the globe up and she's looking at it. In the picture, you can only see her one eye. And then she's got another cover of a magazine.
Talk to me about Greta.
Ooze coming down her face, and it's covering one eye. And it's because it's part of their one eye symbolism. And like I said, I don't know if Greta's like all right, just get it so it drips so they can just see the one eye because I got it.
Get the one eye. How dare you if you don't get my one eye? How dare you to ruin my photo?
Right, you think she'd want to be seen, or maybe there's like some stylist that does all the photos that's like, all right, so don't forget, we got to do your Illuminati pose.
I wonder if they all say like they all share the same photographer.
There's a lot of YouTube channels that are devoted to this, so you can just look up Illuminati hand sign celebrities, and they'll just go for hours and hours and hours. There's one guy that he was put 3-hour videos, hundreds of them, just documenting all these celebrities doing these satanic hand signs. So it's out there. It's pretty clear.
I want you to go into Greta's Instagram because now I'm curious to see
they say things that are indicative of that they're in these clubs and that they do bad things and that they like hurt and abuse people and that's part of their rituals. So you really have to beware of these people that you think that are just funny, famous actors. Like
she wasn't actually Greta. Greta's a good example of that because she was a simple nobody and all of a sudden she made a speech and she's like the biggest person in the world. Like, I mean, I've been a climate activist for like years. And you're telling me that this girl just made a like small speech and that is exactly it. Look at the photo, the one eye. Like literally the eye is like the eye is covered.
Oh yeah, they gotta be clever with it.
They gotta be clever with it.
So if I see you in the future one, you're doing the one eye, it better be like some kind of.
Oh my gosh, this is the one you're saying, like the painting that like the oil.
The black goo's got some kind of.
Yeah, it's like coming out of her eye. What is that even? What is that photo? Like I will leave this like the photos and stuff in the episode like notes, but I guess it's like the oil coming out of her eye, like. What is that even like? Oh my god! You can
see like Miss T.S. herself, Taylor Swift.
That's another one that I cannot even.
She's doing actual satanic rituals on stage. You can just see it. They're just like in all these cloaks, walking around, pentagrams, and like candles lit, and people are like, "Oh, this is a clever way to."
I care so much that I don't even follow her on Instagram. I don't care enough about Taylor Swift. Like she's just
don't feed the beasts.
She's just like everything that everybody pretty much. Have you ever noticed how she take every single one of her photos? Her microphone is like very close to her ass. It's like, I'm farting. kind of thing. Like, I always have to make fun of that. It's like.
A lot of their views are fake too. Like, you get these things where it looks like they're more popular so that you're like, oh, it's got 5 million views. I gotta check this out too. So, that's one of their tricks. You know, I thought that when I donned the knight's attire and started doing this public safety thing, I wasn't doing it because I was trying to be famous. But then when I started to get into some situations that were like, oh, this is kind of a newsworthy situation. I think that some of these conservative media outlets would be interested in this stuff, don't you think? And I was sending stuff to them, and they're just blocking me too. And it's like, wait, why? Why wouldn't you want this? And so I would watch people doing what I do, but they were doing it in a smaller way where it was like they were not as clever with what they're saying. They're definitely not in knight's attire. They're just wearing normal clothes. And I'd reach out to these conservative personalities that were coming up and say, hey, like, what's up? I want to be friends. Like, you have the same enemies as I do. Like, I see you're fighting refuse fascism and making fun of them. Like, so do I. Like, you don't like Antifa? Neither do I. Like, you want to, like, work together? And one guy, his name's Elijah Schaefer. He keeps failing upwards. It's incredible to watch how these things work because he started going out and doing RepComp stuff after I did. He started going out and like kind of razzing them. And then he started to become, he's just an on the scene guy shooting stuff at volatile protests. And he went to some of these ones that had like real big riots and fires. And the one thing he did to like get cred is he went inside this like looted, drugstore.
The CVS?
Don't go in there. Why would you do that? Like, clearly it's being looted. And you went in there to, like, just be like, oh, man, and they're like, they're beating me and stuff. It's like, no. Okay. So, but I had messaged him, like, hey, are you interested in putting together a documentary on these kind of protest scenes around the country? We're all dealing with similar situations. You're doing your thing over there. I know this guy's here, this guy's here. And he didn't get back to me. Instead, he made a documentary just about himself. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, all right. And then he got a show on Blaze TV. And it's like, but this guy's not funny or creative or clever. And it's like, what? Okay. So then I'm like, hey, Blaze TV, like, are you interested in this? Because like I'll sell you stuff. Like I need money to do this. I would like to do this as a profession too. So I'm sending stuff to Greg, my old photographer. He's sending stuff to InfoWars all the time, and we're expecting to be like, why are we being invited on as like esteemed guests onto these things? Like I'm in the streets. I'm literally going toe to toe with Antifa, and some of the things I was doing were just so incredible that it's like, how are you guys not asking what's going on with this guy? Because like some of the stuff at the Kent State Open Carry Walk, that was incredible footage. There's a guy in full Knights, objectively, there's a guy in full Knights attire, and he's like on the front lines with the cops, and he's defending with the shield, and these Antifa people are just running into his shield because they're idiots, and it's like, this is incredible footage. Nobody wants to ask about that. So the news, like they even had a clip of the part where the Crusader and the shield and the Antifa guys running into the shield. And it's like they never followed up on that or anything, and no one wanted to know about that. It's all because they're in the same Illuminati club, and I'm not in it. They're not ever going to let me in it. They're going to let me do what I do because I kind of fly under the radar. I'm not a real threat to them. Like, who cares if I talked about that they put their hand over their eye and they bathe in blood like they do it on video. So, but yeah, that's why I just do my own thing. I just put out my own music that I produce myself. I've worked with some local producers to get the kind of sound that I wanted when I didn't know how to make the sounds myself, and also to kind of get some names that I knew would help me on get just a little bit more credentials in some of my music. It's like, oh, this guy's just making music in his bedroom or something. It's like, no, I'm actually going to studios. I'm working with real producers. I'm paying them. I've had to put a lot of bars of silver into my music production. So like I said, better to just stay away from the fame game. Just do it yourself. And who are you trying to get to see your stuff anyways? Like, people don't care. Like, they look at your thing for 5 seconds and then it's gone. If you get these people who are, you don't know, that are following you and watching your stuff, it's like, you don't really have this connection with them. You're going back to your old account that's just your friends and family going, hey, does any of you 100 people like my stuff? Like, no? Okay. And then you go over and you get the dopamine from the likes on the other one, but it's not the same because it's like, well, I don't even know these people. And it's like, do you really care about being famous to people that you don't know? Do you care about people seeing you and going, oh, that's so-and-so? I don't care about that. I like some exposure to some of my work because I think it's good. I think that people who are into the stuff that I'm into would like it. I just think, I just hesitate to be annoying with the marketing of it. So I don't want to jam it down people's throats. I don't want to be like doing anything tricky where maybe I make like a fake account that's all devoted to like just Crusaders, and then I like pull the rug out and I'm like, hey, you guys hear this Crusader song? So I don't want to do anything like that because I just want people to enjoy my stuff. And it's cool to have creations and productions that when I talk to people in person, or when I meet new people, or, when I'm gone and my old family's like, hey, we had this uncle that did some crazy stuff, or your grandpa did this, and it was like, what do you mean? And it's like, oh, you can go on that old website, it's called YouTube, and you can watch 50,000 commercials, but then you get to see this footage of this guy who's doing this crazy, and he's like, makes music, and they'll be like,
I don't know, maybe
so-and-so did this?
Maybe one day we'll have a statue of you in Little Italy. We'll replace Columbus with you.
Not necessary. It would be nice to go play some music. I'm still, because of the negative connotations in my persona, like I'm not invited to play at music festivals, and I've had a hard time getting my films into film festivals. And so, I don't
know. Cleveland's going to have the Cleveland Marijuana March. You want to play there?
Oh,
they're going to have a stage, to my knowledge.
I'll go down to that for sure. Yeah,
they're going to have an actual stage, so you can be one of the guest stars, playing on the stage.
Mm-hmm. So I'm working on I'm helping a DIY space get put together, so maybe they'll let me play in there. I've done some open mics. There's some cool open mics around in Lakewood. There used to be one before Corona, so I played there. I've played in public plenty. I just haven't played in public with a full band with my Crusader music. I actually have a hard time getting musicians because a lot of musicians are of the left political leaning, so they
when I tell them, hey, I'll put an ad out and say I'll pay you to like be my drummer, and they're like, oh, who is this? And it's like
the Crusade guy.
I was like, oh no! Like, there was one woman that was like, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty extreme, and I was like, oh, all right, let's see how extreme you are. And she was like hanging different BDSM implements from like her body during her stage performance. I was like, no, not exactly what I was looking for. And then I've had people reach out to me that be like, hey, I'm a drummer. I found your ad. Like, please tell me at least if my email's working. I've messaged back to so many people and they don't respond to me. And I watch this woman's drumming and I'm like, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like your drumming. I like what you did here. I send her a message back, like, would you want to work together? And then they don't respond to me. It's like, why would you treat me like that after all these people treated you like that? And I sent you this nice message complimenting your drumming. So it is hard to find people to work with. When you do find somebody that you get along with and that you work with and well, like, stick with them and keep working with. That's why I work with Juan on these little productions, because even though ideologically we are opposed, he was running down a list of some of his candidacy things that he wants to do, and I'm like, no. But we work well together. We work very professionally together. The first time we did it was on that documentary that shot Sealy Protest 2020. And again, that I did on my own because
we need to do one more.
Yeah, we need something. Oh.
We need to do Westworth, and I'm 100% sure that if we ask the organizer will be more than happy to join us and be part of it.
Even with me here?
Yes. You know, I think we need to do we need to go back to that specific spot and do an episode of not of the podcast, but do a documentary again right there and invite the host of the event to be part of the. And maybe invite the opposition. Maybe have a little bit of everything.
Show up, and what he plans is another second.
Hey, listen.
One.
If you're willing to put it together, you can borrow microphones if you need. You can even take my phone with you. I was lend you the tripods.
I would like to. That was such a wild event, and there has been so many repercussions following it. Like I
think it'll definitely make a hell of a good documentary.
Yeah, that's true. I got some good.
I'll do the marketing. I'll do the marketing.
Well, I was just kind of talking about, what could I work on you with in the future? Because, there's some things that are lacking in Cleveland because, I don't know, they didn't do the Illuminati rituals. Like, Scene Magazine they're getting close to being nothing. The magazine's paper thin now. It used to be like half-inch thick, and now it's 4 or 5 pages that are the few ads that they got left. And everything that they put out is just generic leftism with a couple critiques on the city, and so there's not really good entertainment.
No, they need to I signal. You know what? For the promotion, we need to go
Don't do it. You can't do it because when you get famous later on, when you're a working politician, then they're going to be like, hey,
Illuminati,
because he's Illuminati.
X-Files intro song, Illuminati, run away.
So Juan and I worked on that Sealy Protest 2020, and I had only encountered him in the streets and just messaged him like, hey, would you be willing to come and sit down and do an interview outside for this? And I'm not going to cut you in any way that's going to make you look bad. I'm just going to put what you say, and you're already a funny person. And he came.
I don't know. He made me look fat in that.
What?
He made me look fat. I didn't even tell me my hair looked awful in that one.
Really, you're wearing a trench coat. And
listen, that trench coat still literally, it's on my chair right now. That trench coat has history. I got arrested on that thing, okay?
The way you showed up, I didn't tell you to come dressed like that. You just arrived in all black with a red bow tie. I was like, oh.
That's how I dress. I'm wearing khakis today because it's a casual day.
But I had a good time doing that, and working with you was fun. And then you were nice enough to bring me on for your podcast, even though you've been told in the past, don't platform me. But the thing is you'll give anyone a voice to speak, and I've never done anything to you or offended you in any way that, and I've always told you the truth, just like I'm telling you guys the truth here. I don't lie to people. I told you the truth about RevCam and some things you don't want to hear, but that's why.
I don't know. All hell, Laura Vakian.
Not me. But. Find some good people to work with. Start putting out your own productions and, make some more content to watch, because people like watching stuff. I mean, you just keep scrolling through and it's like, it takes a lot of work. So I can't put stuff out every month. It takes me a month to make a song, and it takes me months to make a documentary. So, but back to the one we were going to make ourselves, Wadsworth would be a very interesting one to put together. People still are interested in that topic, because even if they're not, it's still a good episode. Even if it was like Sealy protest Wadsworth, we could do something like that. So otherwise, I don't know. We'll have to put together.
I had the marketing in my head right now. Oh, just tell me when. I have like everything, posters, like the internet, like online. I have it. I'm like picturing it in my head, and I have it.
Oh, but there's just certain aspects of it that I don't know if we can get into. But we'll talk about that future. What else could we talk about in regards to the fame and Illuminati? Do you have any more questions about that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you walk through a lot of good stuff there. You share a lot of good, and you were the host of this one today. I think this should be like featuring myself instead of you, because you're the host. I was the co-host here.
Well, thanks a lot. I knew that you kind of had an open spot and needed to get some stuff going. I figured we talk about this. I brought in some other topics we could talk about, different time. I know that you and I have mentioned dating and the current dating scene, and being a straight man of any dating age, and the new pitfalls that you have to navigate in order to find any girlfriend, but like a traditional girlfriend that's going to like become your wife and have kids. Whew, that's not doing OnlyFans. Good luck finding that.
I think listen again. I have the camera equipment. I think we need to go and create this series already. Dating a night. We just need to make it happen.
I mean, you have to get the female that's willing to accept all the unusual aspects of my life. Like I said, I have girls that do the medieval reenactment stuff with me that are interested in that aspect of it. But then it's like, wait, what's this alt-right thing going on here? What is this public safety at the protests? And who? Okay, so. And a lot of the people that are in the medieval stuff, they're kind of into the left. And then it's also like let's say I meet a normal person, because like I still talk to normal girls, and I just go to bars and talk to them like normal, and they talk to me. But then, when we get to the end of the conversation, they're like, "Does this come off?" And it's like, "No." Like, oh, bye. So it would take a special person to date me. Right now, I'm content with going to see my New Orleans stripper girlfriend once in a while and throwing some money on stage at her. So that's all I need. It's just like a brief encounter here and there, and otherwise, like hanging out with a girl every day, it's kind of gay.
I mean, it's 2023. I don't know. The new norm is not being straight.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, thanks for this opportunity to warn your audience and just give them a little bit of background on what it's like if you just sell all your stuff and try to go pursue a career in entertainment.
Don't join Scientology or the Refcoms.
Don't join Scientology. Don't join the Refcom. Don't do any
Illuminati stuff.
No Illuminati stuff. No witchcraft.
Triangle in the eye.
You know what? Stay in your own city and start working with people that you are cool with. So,
all right. So that's all for this episode. We will, again, as in the description of this episode and all platforms, there will be the link to the episode notes, and I'll have more like the posts we mentioned, photos and different organizations. All that crap will be there. But that doesn't mean you want to join them.
Yeah, maybe he'll wrap this one with one of my fresh tracks. Maybe I Would Rather Be Crusading. You could roll that one since I'm not going to get played on the radio because I'm not in the Illuminati.
There you go. Roll the music.
The dream is over, here I lay in my bed in these modern days. All around me are amenities, and I'll pray, Lord, how would you do this to me? For you know I would rather be crusading. I would rather
This episode and all episodes of Político with Juan, Collado, Díaz are Spotify original from Anchor.fm and Chuck Norris approved, right, Chuck?
Chuck Norris approved.